Everybody. Welcome. Get ready. I know, we could just move. I'm Brian Versario. I'm the president of the IDSA, and Sally Phillip from Hinsdale Central is here, the president-elect of the IDSA, and we'd like to welcome you. We have tonight's topic is creating culture and community. The kids are coming back, now what? So myself and Mike Tarjan from Glenbrook North High School are going to be hosting tonight, but also really we're going to be hearing from the entire exec board. So we're all going to be a part of it, and there's going to be time for you at the end to talk to us about what's going on at your school too, and we can talk, we can figure out what's going on, or we can move on. So the first thing, as we go to our first slide, one of the first things I want to talk about is, what have you been binge watching during the pandemic? Put it in the chat. And if you're not a TV person, what are you doing? Are you reading something fantastic? Is it a movie? What is it? Let us know. Okay, so, Cobra Kai, it's on my list. I have not watched it yet. Schitt's Creek is amazing. I just discovered it. Ozark is the best. Oh, Ratchet, I haven't watched it yet. I've never watched Gilmore Girls. Cobra Kai, everyone's talking about the Cobra Kai. Little Fires Everywhere, okay, that is on my list, but I have not watched it. What is Home Edit, Ashley? I've never heard of Home Edit.
It's an organizing show. I find it highly relaxing.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. And Lynn, I don't know what All-American is. What's All-American?
It's about a high school in Beverly Hills that actually one of my assistant principals was the associate principal there, and now recently moved back. It's really cool about high school equality. It's really cool. Very good.
Nice. That's awesome. What is, Mark, lots of game shows, like what's your favorite? What are you watching?
Price is Right, Jeopardy.
And wait, isn't that Press Your Luck Back?
No, yeah, Press Your Luck
no
is
whammy.
back.
No whammies.
No whammies.
Big
I
bucks
mean,
and whammies.
That brings me back to watching TV with my grandma. I love that show. She loves screaming no whammies out. All right, another one for All-American. All right, I'm going to have to check that out. The Great Poetry Throwdown. Okay, all right. Again, so like I'm going to talk about this later, but kind of sometimes keeping things simple. Not everything has to be a huge, big deal. And sometimes it's just fun to connect with kids to find out what they're watching. So it's kind of why I put it on here, kind of connects us all to it. And now I know a couple shows I have to add to my list of things to do. Thank you so much for sharing. Sally, can you go to that first slide? And I believe our first slide is Mr. Tarjan from GBN.
Hello, everybody. How are you? My name is Mike Tarjan. I am the Student Activity Director at Glenbrook North High School. This is my 15th year at Glenbrook North. And the slide you're looking at is just a smashing of what we've been doing this fall. Some of this stuff we picked up in the spring once COVID started, but I thought I'd take a little time to share with you the different things that we've been doing to engage students and staff. You see Glenbrook North Satisfy My Soul, and those pictures there up on the left and the right are signs that we put up on late last week. This Monday we had our senior class join us at school in person. Tomorrow we'll have the juniors, the sophomores on Thursday, and the freshmen on Friday. So we throw up some signs, and outside of school we have 7 or 8 signs as kids drive in just to welcome them back and make them, try to help them feel welcome at school. We also had some parents and some staff members outside of school on Monday, just welcoming kids in and just kind of trying to make them feel part of something that I know people are nervous about. Satisfy my soul. For us, that's a big saying at Glenbrook North. We have a cheer that goes on. It's been going on for, I want to say it started back in the 70s, but there's a part of it that all the kids yell out, satisfy my soul, satisfy my soul.
Sorry.
And this has been just kind of part of who we are. So that's why I put that on there. I just want to talk a little bit about each of these little blurbs that I have on there. The other day on Sunday, it was really cool. We had a group of students, part of our student council group. They took the time to kind of do a secret email to a bunch of other students to ask for videos. And we put together about a 5-minute video that we sent out Sunday night to all the staff, thanking them for being courageous and coming out and showing up and doing everything that they could to educate our kids. And it was a really cool moment when I got a lot of different emails back from staff like, wow, this made me feel so special. It was really about how kids appreciated all the hard work that they've done over the summer, last spring, this fall, just to kind of keep the education going for our kids and making them feel welcome. So that was a big part of welcoming back the staff. We as administrators, we've done so much just to try to keep people afloat. And I think the teachers hearing from our students meant a lot. So that was one little thing that we just did this weekend. I am scrolling, excuse me. If you look to the left, you see star of the class. Last spring, as we went into COVID, each class board that we have started doing this star of the class, and they did it every couple weeks, and now we're doing it. We're still continuing twice a month, where they try to find students that have done great things, and all we do is just recognize them on social media. We take a picture of them and we talk about what they've done. We don't really mention their full names because we're really careful about putting full names out on social media, but it's really about honoring the kids who have done special things for other people, whether it's community service, whether it's something for their team or their club or in their classroom where they've stand out. And so we've just done something to recognize those kids. You've been mugged. That is more directed towards our staff. And I think this is really cool. You know, we have a group, I don't know how many of you have had the pleasure of encountering Scott Bakovich, but he comes up with so many different ideas and so many different things to do for creating school culture. And I don't know if this came directly from him or if it was just our kids kind of really just kind of came up with the idea through conversations with him. You've been mugged. We give out a coffee mug. We stuff it with candy, pen, but the biggest thing is a special note. And this goes out to staff once a month. And we give it to maybe 5 staff members, 6 staff members once a month. And it's really just to say thank you to them. And it's to help them feel appreciated for all the hard work that they do. And we ask different students to nominate different staff for that. And that's been a ongoing thing since last spring. And I really think the kids have grabbed onto that this fall. You've been booed. So we're trying that this year. I don't know if you guys, if anybody else out there has done this, but all this is we're just going to do it for the month of October. Different students every day get a boo, we've been booed marker at their house, and we put it out on their front door. There's a letter that we say, we talk to how this is a surprise. We're spreading good cheer. Here's a little candy bag. We want you to pass this on and go boo somebody else within the next 2 days. So we're doing that with students and staff. We're trying to do that with staff at their desks for those of them that are present at school. Student activities spotlight down there in the bottom right corner. Once a month, we try to highlight one of our clubs and, you know, something good that they have done. So we started that again. We started that in the spring last year with COVID. It was kind of one of those great things I think that started for us with a bad situation, right? So right now, I know we're starting to recognize a couple of groups. One group that is, we're raising money for a cancer patient to redecorate their bedroom and help them feel special. So we're recognizing them. So once a month, we're going to kind of pick out 1 or 2 clubs that are doing something special through student activities. Senior packs, that's just really a welcome back package for all of our seniors. A lot of seniors order t-shirts. We have a senior t-shirt. I'm sure a lot of the schools do that. But what we did is we went out to the community. We got Tropical Smoothie to donate a bunch of free coupons. So we're putting bags together with t-shirts, coupons, candy, and every senior, whether they got a t-shirt or not, every senior is getting a handwritten note from the senior class board just to talk about how special they are and how we're excited to have them here at school. Spartan of the Week. I don't know. Spartan of the Week, I totally stole this. I stole it from a couple of you out there. I know Sally does it. I know Debbie does it as well. Spartan of the Week has turned into one of the biggest things at Glenbrook North that I can't believe how crazy it's gotten. It is the most basic thing. I think all we do is on Fridays is we announce a Spartan of the Week. We have 1 freshman, 1 sophomore, junior, senior, and 1 staff member that we recognize every single Friday. It is totally randomly picked off an Excel spreadsheet, and they receive a t-shirt, gift cards, coupons, pens, do be nice stickers, whatever. But the biggest thing is that they get recognized over the PA or over our morning announcements, and then we put them out on social media. This year, because of COVID, what I've been doing is every other week or so, I've been actually driving out to students' houses and delivering it, and it's been crazy. It's been a lot of fun. Kids are shocked that I show up at their house. Some kids aren't home, but that's okay. But it's been a lot of fun, and I can't tell you how many kids go, I want to be Spartan of the Week. I want to be Spartan of the Week. It's such an awesome program, and I'm so glad that we're doing it. And then last, Fall Fest. I kind of briefly mentioned this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about homecoming. But Fall Fest for us, we decided that we're not going to try to mimic what homecoming would be, and we're going to try to do stuff that would be different. And some of it, I mean, as much as you try to do things differently, some of it's still the same, but we've done our best. Starting in a couple days, we're going to start chalking the campus. We're going to ask clubs to just represent themselves around campus on all the sidewalks as kids walk in. They can see what different clubs we have. We're doing a pumpkin decorating and tie-dye night, 2 nights this month. We'll have shifts of about, we're asking kids to sign up. We're only allowing 80 kids each shift. And we'll split them into groups so that we can keep social distance. And we're doing it outside in our parking lots. Another night we're going to have mini golf, frisbee golf, bago. We have a magician, a student magician, and who's also a DJ. And we have Cheesy's food truck coming. Cheesy's has an online ordering.
I'm sorry.
An online ordering system where kids will be able to pre-order and their food will be packed up, ready to go when they show up during their slots. So a little nervous about that, but I think it'll work out okay. And we have a huge light show that we're doing. We're inviting the community to drive through our campus. We have a bunch of lights, projection, kind of hype videos. Our marching band, our POMs will be out there. And it'll be about a 5-minute drive through for our entire community. And then also we're doing some like trivia games by grade level. So it's trying to just kind of grab people at different angles and keep them involved. So that's what we're doing at GBN. To be honest, I'm a little nervous because I think we're trying to bite off a lot, but it's exciting. And, we have a lot of excited kids and hopefully we have some kids get really involved in the programs.
And Mike, we had one question about that. What platform did you do that slide in?
So I used Canva. Canva is awesome. This is the first slide I ever did on Canva. You can do slides, you can do flyers. It's awesome. I mean, it's so easy, it's free, and you just pick what kind of format you want to use, and then you can download it, and it works on Instagram, it works on, obviously, Google Slides, it works as PDFs and everything.
Nancy, I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe Mike does. Can you put a video? Oh, Ashley's answering. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can put videos from it on there. It's cool.
Chris, that's what I was just going to mention. I got a pro version for free because I'm an educator. You just have to apply. I think it's on their website, and they just have to verify that you're an educator, and you send them your email address and everything, and you get the better version of it and so many add-ons. So I recommend to everyone on Canva getting the educator free pro version. It's awesome.
It's like a Adobe for idiots.
There's no license. You just send your email address. They verify it. They ask you some questions.
And so easy to use. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Any other questions I can help you? I'm trying to look at the chat.
I think we're good.
Awesome.
Good. Let's see that next slide. Hersey.
All right. Good evening,
Chris.
everybody. Hi, I'm Chris Capura from Hersey High School. I just picked out a few bullet points to kind of focus on of things that we're doing in the next really 7 days to welcome our students back. So I know everybody's kind of on their own schedule and doing their own thing in different districts in terms of students coming back in the building. Our target date for that in our district and at Hersey High School is next Wednesday. And so these are all things we're doing between tomorrow and next week to try to welcome our students back. The first one I have there is just very simple. We have sort of a front and a back main entrance to school. And due to the situation with COVID, those are the only access points to the building. And they, for us, have nice long sidewalk lead up areas. So I'm having our student spirit group, the Orange Crush, will be out there next Tuesday night, weather permitting, to send positive messages to our students and staff. A lot of our staff are returning to the building for the first time this year, next Tuesday as well. We have a large portion that are in the building, but many that have been at home with their own children and for medical concerns. And so it'll be sort of a hybrid of, no pun intended, but hybrid of positive messages, thank you messages to staff, just for the effort to get things to where they are at this point in the classroom. But then also just to, in general, to build school spirit and welcome kids back and try to build some excitement and just a little pick me up on the way into the building. So real simple idea. I've seen it done at some other schools that'll be mentioning it tonight. I know Michael mentioned it. I know Maine East did an awesome job with that earlier this year. But I think it's just a quick way to try to create a positive vibe on the way into the building on the first day of school. The next big thing that we're doing is sort of a reboot on freshman orientation. That's why I put take 2 on there. We had a freshman orientation in August, and there were small groups of kids that were in the building and had some contact with their counselors before our remote learning situation started. But I think due to the fact that this is physically, for a lot of these kids, the first time in the building, we're actually hosting them in our building tomorrow. And we're kind of divvying up tour guide responsibilities to the staff that are in the building. So our freshmen will get a pretty cool looking class of 2024 t-shirt with a school logo. A lot of them have no connection to Hersey so far. You know, we can't assume that all of them have been in the building for sports or have older siblings. And so this will be kind of their first spirit swag, their first chance to have a shirt and be part of their class and build camaraderie that way. And then get a pretty detailed tour from staff. I think several of our counselors have done a really nice job putting this program together, and put together a whole script of talking points well beyond just there's the library and there's the cafeteria and have a nice day. So it's just kind of a way to try to make a personal touch to these kids that have never been in our building and are quite frankly, you know, most likely really nervous to come in and find their classes and learn their schedule and make their way around the building. And so that's a real big focus, and that's going to be starting tomorrow. And then this Friday night, we're also hosting a fall festival similar to some of the other schools that you'll hear tonight. But we're going to be having an outdoor movie, and we decided instead of one particular movie, it's going to be kind of a series of movie shorts, funny clips, to kind of break up the action and try to find something that everybody likes. I know that's really hard to do. But we were just thought maybe think outside the box a little bit and just kind of do something like that to break up the time frame. We're also having the laser light show similar to what Michael mentioned. And we have a hot chocolate truck that'll be serving drinks to the kids on Friday night. We decided instead of a drive-in movie that we're using field space that adjoins our field house and our back gym. And so there'll be sort of circles painted on the grass for small groups of kids to promote social distancing and of course, you know, safety given the situation. But we're kind of hoping with all of this stuff in some small way to just make as much of a physical connection to kids that have only been on Zoom here for the first several weeks of school. And that's kind of our hope for the next 7 days, and we'll see how it goes. But thanks for listening, and I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody else.
Thank you so much, Chris. All right, Sally at Hinsdale.
Oh, that's me. Hold on, I'm sorry. All the screen stuff's in the way. We just welcomed staff and students back on Monday. We had our first 25% Monday in our group B today, and then Thursday and Friday, we're getting the rest of them in. So in order to help with some staff morale, we have arranged for some food trucks to come on Thursday. There's going to be a dessert truck. Cheesy's is coming, just so staff have a place to grab some lunch since our cafeteria isn't serving anything. And then hoping the weather's okay and people can kind of socially distance outside before everybody takes off for the end of the day, because they can work from home once students leave. We also on Monday delivered some snack boxes to each department offices. They were filled with water bottles, Capri Suns, some candy, granola bars, all individually wrapped packages so that teachers just had something that they could grab. Student Council also started some boo-grams, like what Mike referenced earlier, just with staff though. So we picked 4 staff members and started that on Monday, and that's kind of going around. They have 2 days to post something outside their door and then boo somebody else. And we started with our support staff because we don't want them to feel left out during all of this time either, since they aren't in the classroom and they have been in the trenches. They've had to work every day. With our students, we did do a welcome sign with every student's name on it. We're about at 2,800 kids. So I had my support staff all help in the last couple weeks, and they all put kids' names on some welcome back cards. And we used our tagline, "It's a great day to be a Red Devil," and welcome back. And those are posted at our 2 entrances that the kids can come in while they're getting their temperatures scanned. So those will be up all week this week. And then we did the yard signs. There's one picture there in the front of our building, so that's on our Main Street entrance, so the community sees it when they're driving by. And then we also put another sign right outside where our buses drop off on the side of the school as well. So Card My Yard are great to work with. They have a 40% off student school discount. So to get that to run for all 5 days that it's up this week was about $200 for each sign. So it was pretty affordable to do for the week. And people really appreciated it when they came in on Monday, and they're still talking about it now too. So those are mine, pretty quick welcome back morale things. And it's Card My Yard. Sorry, Joaquin. I saw that in the chat.
I think Brian is unmuted. He's muting himself.
Hi, everyone. Ted Gergen from Stevenson. We are not back yet, and I don't think we're going to be back until January. But so it's exciting to hear everybody's ideas. We have some things that we're bringing kids back on campus. We're doing some things. But if you haven't heard Phil Boyd's podcast, he always has some really interesting tidbits as you're driving or you need some space from other people in your household. And one of the ideas that he talked about was just like, when we are back in person, or when you have kids that are in groups, it might not be for your staff, it might be kids. How do we know what the comfort levels are of those individuals? And this is just an example. Like, you might not want like a big bracelet or a scarlet letter, but just some indication of like, yeah, I'm totally cool. Like with you coming into my classroom and we could chat about a student, or you're welcome into my office like a counselor. Or maybe it's like, hey, can you stay outside of my door and we'll chat like, 10 feet away or whatever. Or like, yep, I'm good with high fives, elbows, fist bumps, things like that. But just like that whole idea of, we're all in different places, and let's have like a visual representation so we don't, end up in this weird, conflict with some of our peers. So this is just a little reminder of, and again, you could have a sticker on your door, you could have a sign, you could have a bracelet, you could do lots of different ways, different ideas, think outside of the box, but just to, to put that out there visually so we have that conversation. That's awesome to hear that this is happening in like the professional industry as well.
I love that, because I think that gives people a safe way to not have to say it out loud, or it just gives everyone a nice way, a comfortable way to be able to show how they're feeling.
Sure, absolutely, yep.
That's great. I love that. Thanks, Ted. Lockport.
Good evening, everyone. So first with apologies. I was going to have a picture of my very first line, the welcome wagon, but the welcome wagon looks a lot like an old overhead cart, but it's not. It is the welcome wagon. So here's what you do with this thing. You put snacks on it. So there's water, there's chips, there's candy, and this is for the staff. And it's a kind of a play on what Sally was talking about in Hinsdale. The only thing that's different is there's one welcome wagon and it rotates to an office. Now, you specifically pick an office where there's new staff. So it's kind of an onboarding tactic, if you will. We have a lot of new deans and dean's assistants. So we put our first welcome wagon in the dean's office. So when people came in to get their snacks, they would say a quick hello, how are you, and get an introduction that way. We usually have a lot of onboarding at Lockport, but because of obviously with you know, the schedule changing and this, that, and the other, we just weren't able to do that. Next is lawn chair lunch. We had spectacular weather in September, and hopefully that continues. I think we're a lot like the other schools. We didn't have a cafeteria open, so staff were bringing their lunch and their lawn chairs, and they were social distancing outside and eating outside before they went to kind of their intervention time. Next is the video walkthrough. Freshmen have only been on campus twice, and we also had some new students to the district as well. We covered actually all three of these, arrival procedures, what they can come to expect. The tech issues, the number one question we were getting is, my Chromebook's broken, I need a new charger, where do I go? And the office is kind of hard to find. So what our video club did is they filmed it from the point of view of you walking through our front door and actually walk a student through the video to where they need to go. So it's helped out a lot, and questions have been alleviated, as well as those hard to find classrooms. My last one is Thought Exchange. I just found this today, but thoughtexchange.com is a way that you can get feedback from sponsors, students, parents, and it's simply a way to check in. From there, you know, the stakeholders answer questions, and then it can create a word cloud as to kind of how they're feeling, and you can, you know, address that with your stakeholders from there.
Thank you so much, Brian. We appreciate that. I like that thought exchange. That's great.
Mhm.
So, Lynn, I don't think you're here, are you? She was just texting me. And her computer froze. She can't figure it out. So she's like, take over my slide. I'm like, okay, sure. So Lynn is at Resurrection College Prep. And it really was just, she said she wanted it to be a positive message to everybody. So she's just like, the new reality takes time, because Resurrection and Lisa Friedrich, her daughter, goes there. So Lisa, you're welcome to chime in at any time. But they've been back, and in there, I think they're doing half at a time. But she just wanted everyone to know, like, the new reality takes time, more than you think. So take a deep breath, slow down. You know, it's going to be okay. And while the students are so excited to be back, like most of us, it is a new reality. And then she just she was going to talk about how it is so difficult being able to talk to the kids in the classroom and the kids that are Zooming in. And she's been doing it for weeks now. So, Lynn, we're sorry we missed you. And if she comes back, she can maybe add more to that. Lisa, do you think I forgot anything there, or anything you would add as someone who's had a kid going to high school? Live. Lisa, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't see me put my thumbs up. One of the things that I love that they did, and as people start welcoming kids back to school, is that they had teachers standing outside in front of the school holding signs that they had made and welcoming the students back. It was just, having dropped off my own daughter there, it was this moment. So as often as you can create those kind of moments, I think they're helpful.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Director at Deerfield High School. Lisa Friedrich is the Activities Director at Highland Park High School. And we do a lot of the same things. So we have 6 things on here. Lisa's going to take the first 3. I'm going to take the bottom 3. We do a couple things that are different, but go ahead, Lisa.
So one of the things that we are doing tomorrow actually at both schools is that we're having a seniors rock event. And here's my little rock, if you can see it. Brian and I went to a quarry, so to speak, and bought bags of rocks. And I can tell you that I have 500 rocks for $120. And we are inviting students to come in 40 every 15 minutes. And they are going to come and sign a rock with their name on it, and we're going to create a seniors rock garden. Our next little field trip will be going to get a big boulder so that we can put that in our rock garden and put class of 2021 on it, or seniors rock kind of thing, so that it is displayed. If they come, they do get a free bucket hat. But that wasn't originally part of why they wanted to do it. They really just want to come on campus because we're all remote. So it has been a lot of fun. Some other things that we have been doing at Highland Park is virtual weekly challenges through 5-Star and through Remind. So at Highland Park, every class has a Remind text, and they can sign up. We start 8th grade parent meeting, start signing up the new class in January, and we currently have more signups for Remind text than we have students. So we do allow parents to sign up as well. So those go out each week via email and via text, and students can submit pictures. So we did, week 1 was submit your back to school picture. Week 2 was submit your favorite study spot. Week 3 was a vote on Packers or Bears or somewhere around there. We did a Cubs Sox challenge. We did different things. So not every week is about sending pictures in, but every time you submit something, your ID number is collected, and then that is dumped into 5-Star to earn points there. So this week during our viral rivalry week with Deerfield, students can take a picture of their spirit dress up day. And if they submit something all week long, then they enter into a drawing for a giant gear package. Some other things that we have had great success with are drive-through pickups. So t-shirts or treats. We've done this from yearbooks. Lots of opportunities to drive through and just pick something up. And we continue to look for those opportunities. Of course, it's different between classes because some drive, some don't. But we do find that the majority of our students come through. And we always talk about equity and what's equitable and can people come through. But I do know even last year when we were looking at, we did a drive-through pickup of graduation caps and gowns and yearbooks. And I would say that we were able to distribute 95, 96% of everything in that day. It was amazing. Brian.
Lisa, what do you do? When do you do the drive-through? What time of day did you do it?
Well, it depends if we were in school or out of school. So right now we do things from 3:30 to 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that would be the same at Deerfield. When we weren't in school, we were doing it during the day, but now we're doing it afterwards or on weekends and stuff. So TikTok challenge, we're doing TikTok challenges between the 2 schools, students, and then we're also going to do a staff one later on this week. But we've created hashtags for them to use. So at both schools, no matter, you're going to use hashtag 113 viral rivals. And then at Deerfield High School, we would also use hashtag rival warriors, and Giants at Highland Park would use hashtag rival giants. So that way we can count the number of TikToks, and then we're going to declare a winner to see who did the most. So I'm kind of like one of my Earthworks group is doing. They've already done the planting flowers. They met this week, and they planted flowers in a tree around our campus because it was really easy. It was really easy to be socially distant. You didn't have to worry about that. They could spread out, but yet they could still come and be together. And then they wanted to do a little Halloween parade, my Earthworks kids. So they're going to dress up, but they're also going to dress up and walk around with a garbage bag. And we have a slough in the back of Deerfield High School, so they're going to clean that up. And then like my student council, they just said, can we just have one of our meetings outdoors? So they're a pretty big group. There are over 100 kids. So they did it in 3 different sections. And they came and they stayed outside and they met in small groups, but still 6 feet apart. And they just said it just felt good to get away from the Zoom for a minute and be able to meet live. And there was no food. There was no nothing. There was no sparkle. It was just wanting to meet after school and be together. And they just really talked about how great it was to be together again. So sometimes it's just the little things. All right, Sally, next slide. Ashley over at Lake Forest High School.
I got super excited. I'm sorry. We have a busy month because we are bringing our kids back, freshmen back next week, everyone else back the week after. And a couple of things we're doing just to try and smooth the transition is this year, they started a freshman advisory with our link crew. And I know a lot of people have link crew, but ours has just never really operated like this before. And I think we have tried to make a concerted effort to get our freshmen engaged, knowing like what everybody else here knows is that that was going to be really difficult this year. A lot of them have not even been in the building yet. And so trying to get them tied in with people and with different faculty members or clubs. We started doing video announcements. So just kind of highlighting different Instagram, like who to follow, school-wide announcements that we're trying to promote, just as a way to get kids to, instead of reading our Schoology announcements that come out every day, it's one thing. It's a video once a week. It's about 3 minutes long. It's just fun for them to see their student body, president, vice president. And then this month we are doing a virtual 5K. We were always planning on doing a 5K, but obviously went virtual this month. And the big thing is just, it's a big unifying effort to bringing all of our students together to do fundraising together, get active for 30 minutes. It's a run, walk, skip. Like we're just kind of like do anything for 30 minutes and try and get out there together to do it. And then we have a fall fest, just like everybody else, it sounds like. Very similar. We're doing like a car selfie booth, which is something that I think will just be kind of fun, giving kids the choice to drive through as a grade level. So freshmen, we expect a lot of parents to be involved. And then having all of the cars drive through, and then students will have an option to have a friends pod that they can check out and bring lawn chairs, and it'll be 6 kids that can rent a pod basically to hang out and like play bags and get out. Just to see each other. Like Lisa said, a lot of it is just, the kids are just excited to be on campus. We're trying to provide a lot of opportunity for that. And then we have a social emotional virtual check-in every Wednesday now, just trying to touch base with our students, giving them a space. If they want to talk, it's there and they can kind of quickly go through and talk to anyone in our student services department. And then I have one more. So if you click, please. Thank you. I didn't realize, so I'm also in charge of our curricular and extracurricular theater. And I had our theater manager put together a auditorium seating chart for 6-foot distancing. Now, obviously we have to cap it at 50 people in this room, but I didn't realize how much people wanted to use our RMA. Once they saw this, they want to rent it for movies. They want to have different events in the theater and in the auditorium. So what's cool is our fall play is everything's fully virtual, but they're going to have a premiere night together with the cast to watch first. And so the kids want to get dressed up and they want to like have that feel so that they can experience something they've never done before, which is as actors sit and watch your performance together before your parents have. And so we keep kind of saying like, there's these silver linings that you never really realize, that when the play actually comes out, the kids are going to be home with their parents watching it and seeing their reactions. So I think we're trying to kind of frame everything as there's a lot of positives. It's different, but it can be good. And And honestly, as soon as I shared this seating chart, people were like, can we do a movie night? Can we do this? I'm like, yes. Like, it's there, it's ready. It wasn't hard for her to do. We literally just took a tape measure and figured it out. But opening that platform for people to feel like they could do it and that it was ready for them and it was going to be safe. Our administration and our school board obviously has been very adamant about and supportive of getting kids in the building. And so it's been really awesome. Like, there hasn't been many activities I've had to say no to. People know the parameters, they know 50 or less, they know 6 feet distance. And because of that, I think that's what we've really focused on, is anytime you can get FaceTime, because even like Brian said, just being on the front lawn together right now, that's a big deal. And that feels really good. So.
Cool. Thank you so much, Ashley. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Love that. Next slide. John, is that you over at Maine East?
That would be me. The Warrior Activities logo says it all. As I was putting in slides, I noticed there's so many amazing things that everyone's doing welcoming students back. So I wanted to share something that we're doing actually currently virtually, and something that could be done in person as well, because I know IDPH still does not allow students to change for PE. So back in April, we worked with our social emotional learning PLT group, which consists of some social workers and counselors in our student and family services, and paired them up with PE. And they've actually created SEL lessons for all of our students that they're getting every Monday in their virtual PE class. So we're kind of focusing on wellness overall. And what we've been doing is then every Monday morning, we have optional staff meetings for about 10 to 15 minutes where staff come in and one of our PE teachers will lead them through a mindfulness lesson.
Uh-oh, John. Did everybody lose John?
Yeah.
John, we cannot hear you. John.
PE classes.
Oh, there we go.
He's back.
No.
Oh, am I okay?
Now you're okay.
Did you hear anything I said?
Kind of.
You have to PE and lead them through mindfulness.
Let me turn off my camera. Is that any better?
Yes, that's great.
All right. Sorry about that. You don't get to see me now. You just get to hear me. I've lost some weight since that picture too, I think. So I've got like 3 chins there, but that's okay. So we were saying with PE, we've done this because whether we're in person or virtual, IDPH does not allow students to change for PE. So we wanted to make sure that we have options. So we've been doing this since April with our students. And then every Monday morning, we lead our staff through an SEL lesson that is the same lesson that will be taught to our students that day during their PE class. It's a great way to start the Monday with some mindfulness, some relaxation. A PE teacher runs that with all of our staff, and it's a really cool way to start the week. It's optional, but a lot of our staff have been coming. And there's a link in there. It's a Padlet. I won't click on it, but it's in there, and this will be shared out with everybody. That's a reference. It's just a bunch of self-care options that was shared with our students and staff. Some videos, some ways to relax. We're really focusing on self-awareness and self-management with all our students this year. And right now we have, I know a lot of schools have some students in the building. We've got a mix of students on our early warning system, some students in special education, other students who might be Wi-Fi insecure or whatever are in the building. And when they have their virtual PE lesson, our safety monitors are taking them around, walking them outside, taking a mask break. We're going to continue to do that, whether they're in the building or not. And then really just kind of encouraging and celebrating self-care with our staff and students as they return. So There's a good chance in a lot of our buildings that we're going to be in for a while and then out for a while. And if that happens, we're in a good position. We feel that, we can do these virtual self-care lessons and really take care of our students, teach them how to take care of themselves, and do that with our staff as well. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, John. I know suddenly that we're 9 minutes away, so we want to make sure we get to things. This is Debbie Beagle. She cannot be here, but just to kind of quickly go through this, what they're really doing is giving away seat cushions, and that's where people can sit, so they're using their stadium for things. And as you can tell, and you can look at this differently, they're separating their stadium, and they have that 30 feet of access, but making sure you only sit on a seat cushion, and then you get to keep that seat cushion. So that's a fun giveaway to give to students. So next slide, Sally. Awesome. Chris, over at Prospect.
So we did some of the similar things that other schools have done. I would say the two things that have been really successful to us is our volleyball under the lights. Kind of like Ashley said, we marketed this as like a once in a lifetime opportunity for our volleyball programs, where they played on the stadium turf. So we used badminton nets. And then they were able to play a girls scrimmage and then a boys scrimmage. And I use this really as a way to sell our Spirit Club shirts. But then students got to go to the stadium, see each other. And it really kind of was like a fall scrimmage kickoff. Every year at Prospect, we have a football fall scrimmage, and it kicks off our fall athletic season. So this was a good way to keep with the tradition, but change out the sports to what we can do. I know a lot of other people have mentioned breakfast. The one thing we did that was super successful, if you're looking for something easy, is we ran to Costco for our staff and bought the individually packaged muffins and breakfast sandwiches and took all the microwaves out of our foods lab and put them in our commons area for staff. So it was a grab and go breakfast, very cheap and super easy to do. So if you are time strapped, it went over way more successful than I ever thought it would be. Like at this point, I'd never order Panera again because it was way cheaper and super easy. And then the last, if you do a powder throw, we did an individual powder throw where students could come up in their cars for seniors, and we had the powder and a backdrop ready to go. So they jumped out of their car, they threw the powder and got back in the car. And that was really successful because we could keep all of the cars separate. And for whatever reason, parents let their students get back in the car with all the powder on them. So that was a hit and really could be replicated at any time.
That's awesome. That's hysterical. Love the painting the windows and cupping the fence too. That's so funny. But I don't have children, but I don't think I'd let them come back in my car after that. Next slide, Sally. Main East, is this Joaquin?
Tis I. Hey, everyone. So I just put an article in the chat that was written about these incredible inclusive banners. So that would be something to read. And so I just have one thing to talk about. I could talk about, us hosting National Honor Society ceremony in our stadium tomorrow, or our dope Instagram feed, or, other things that we've done, chalk messages for our staff, or our virtual activities fair. But I just want to focus on, walking through Main East with our principal, Dr. Pretzler, we recognized that there was nothing truly symbolizing where our purpose stands in affirming our students. Nothing visible on our building. And so we ordered two 20 by 14 foot banners, as you see here. And in the article, a lot of fanfare came from different ends. Main West has the banner on the right as well. And I am just very proud of my principal as a white cisgender male standing in his purpose and holding to, and our superintendent also, of like, these banners will stay up, they will not come down. We are going to stand firm in affirming in our students and making sure that we're standing in our purpose and letting know that they are seen and heard. We've had alumni from around the country reach out to us, current students, community members, just a showering of support. And so I just wanted to share that with y'all. Thank you.
That's amazing. I love those. I love that that's what you see when you pull up to your school. That's awesome. Okay. Next slide, Sally. This is me. I'm going to be honest with you. We haven't done it yet, but we're working on it right now, and it's a collaboration between our senior exec board, our homeroom, and our DHS TV. So we are asking students to nominate a senior that they believe is deserving to be highlighted. So we're looking. We found out in the spring and the summer that there are some seniors that were doing some pretty cool things, starting their own cooking business and things like that. So we wanted to spotlight them, and what we're hoping for is that we will get some nominations. The senior exec board will be the ones who will pick the deserving ones, and then DHS TV will film them. It's going to be a 2-minute video per senior, and it'll happen on a Friday, and will be shown in homeroom. So we just thought it was really cool way to spotlight some of the seniors and some of the really amazing things that they do. Next slide, Sally. Lyons Township. I believe this is Peter. He is not with us. Let's skip to the next one, and we'll see if we have time for that one.
Okay, hi everybody. This is Stacy from New Trier, and I see a lot of the. Whoops. I think we have to go back a slide.
Go back a slide, Sally.
There we go. So we've got a lot of just a lot of similar things that have already been shared out tonight, but I'll just pick 2 to focus on right now. So the transfer student welcome bags we did for the first time this year, and it was really an amazing thing. The student council put them together with T-shirts and foam fingers, and they went out and got a lot of local businesses to donate coupons. And so they just thought when students are moving into the area and not able to meet their peers one-on-one, that's like the hardest thing in the world to transfer into a school in this situation. So student council members divided up and delivered these to their homes. We collaborated with the parents so that we were able to surprise them and make sure they were home when they were delivered. And it was really just one of the coolest things we've done. And so we hope to make that an annual tradition. And we also did something similar for our new staff this year as well. Again, with the just with the thought that this is the hardest way to transfer into a new environment. And so we hope that that was something that made a difference for folks. And the other thing I will share would be at the top right there, that Thriller Staff Remix. We are hoping to try that today or this year, and that will be happening soon. We're going to be putting out that email soon to get staff involved. And I want to give a shout out to Barrington High School. They did something similar with the Safety Dance remix, and they shared that out. If you just Google Barrington High School Safety Dance, it was very cute, and our staff put that together to welcome their students back to campus, or at least back to the school year. And we're thinking of doing something similar to culminate our Spirit Month with Halloween Happenings Week. So wish us luck, and I think it'll just be something fun to end the month as we all come back to school. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Stacey. We have 2 more slides, so bear with us. We can do this. Carl Sandberg.
We are going quick. Hey, Greg Gardner,
awesome.
The assistant principal here at Carl Sandberg High School, and we have a lot of fun at our school. And the one thing I wanted to highlight is, you know, we've been back with students for about 2 weeks now, and that first week back, you know, we kind of hit them with the music and the as they're driving up in their buses and getting off, and people welcoming them and the chalk and everything we've talked about. But probably the thing that stands out the most with sort of student engagement and how do we raise something to a higher level was our freshman first day. So we had to do that virtual this year, and it was a webinar based thing. We had every freshman on there. It was during the school day, and what we decided to do is reach out to and go out. We sent our division chairs out to a handful of students who had already made a positive impact on social media, kind of getting connected. And they showed up in one of our little buses, and they had the confetti cannons, and they had some elite influencer yard signs and T-shirts and things like that. And during our freshman webinar that we're presenting on, you know, getting connected and talking, they would actually then turn on their camera and bust in as we're presenting, at whatever point we're presenting, when they got to the student's house. And they would call the student out, and the kid would be on their Chromebook in the webinar, seeing themselves being broadcast live in front of their peers. And so it was a way for us to kind of get that live interaction while we were presenting on what to expect as a freshman at Sandburg. It was a ton of fun, and the chat was blowing up, and kids were like, hey, are you stopping by this block? Or come back here and come over by us. And it was a great way to just kind of raise up that connection on a virtual platform. So a ton of fun, and it was great. And the last thing that we're kind of pushing out on Wednesdays, it's our hybrid day where everybody's remote, and we're kind of some of us are at the building and a lot of our staff are at home that day. It's this Win the Day Wednesday. Win the Day is sort of our theme this year. And we're looking to recognize students, staff, and community members for doing a positive thing this week, something simple. As you can see, one of our students last year, I caught her at one of our club meetings as she was taking a bus home from school. And I was pretty inspired by that dedication to want to be in that meeting while she was still on that bus. So excellent way to get connected in this virtual world. And if we can jump to that next slide, I want to talk a little briefly about what the IHSA is doing. All of these ideas are fantastic ideas. And this year, they're doing what's called the Student Spirit Showdown. Normally, they do a student section showdown for all of our fun sections that are at athletic events and things like that. This year, because there's not a lot of spectators at anything, they're doing a School Spirit Showdown. And as you can see here, all this information is on their website. To me, this is the state competition, right? We do a lot of things because we like to compete and we like to kind of raise the ante from what the year before us did in our student leaders. And so this is a great way to kind of channel that competitive drive for your students. Saying, hey, listen, this is a state championship. You know, we won this a couple years back following Prospect, and we got the kids state championship rings, and those kids walk around the school wearing those things with pride. You know, like this is our state championship for student activities and school spirit. So take a look at this. Definitely take some video of everything you're doing and have some kids edit that as you get to January and promote that school spirit story that we all have just shared a little bit of today. And with that, I will kick it back over to the boss, Mr. Visario.
Thank you, Greg. So I want to make sure I'm respectful of people's time. So before you leave, there's two things. Number one, please join us. Our next TNTs, we're skipping the next two. And we will be back. Well, we're skipping, I'm sorry, the 13th. Today's the 6th. We're skipping the 13th. We'll be back on October 20th for part 2 of Equity as a Foundation for Student Activities. It's okay if you didn't come to part 1, but please come to part 2. And there's going to be 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. And that's always the third Tuesday of the month. So we'll make sure you have that. You saw, and so please come for that. And then you also saw that in the chat, Sally put in an evaluation. So please fill that out. If you want to stay, and if anybody wants to share what's going on at that school, I am happy to stay on here, and I'm sure a couple other exec board members will stay with me, wink, wink, and we can answer some questions, or if anybody wants to share what's going on. But I just want to make
Brian,
sure.
I'm gonna throw out a feel good if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
So I just found out about 15 minutes ago that our marching band is going to be on the CBS news at 10 tonight. This was so like last minute, but they worked through a deal with one of the senior citizen homes, the senior homes, where they went out to the parking lot and they performed for the seniors, and the seniors just opened their windows and they're doing a little spotlight on CBS tonight. And it's such a real easy thing to do for your community. I thought it was really cool to share. So
awesome. Was that, what school is that, yours, GBN?
Yeah, Glenbrook North. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great. Nancy, I saw that you put in there in the chat, has anyone done a community scavenger hunt? I haven't. Has anyone done that? Can anyone speak to that?
We are working on it.
I thought Beagle was doing something, but over at Vernon Hills. But
I think Ted did one, didn't they, Ed Stevenson?
is Ted still on here? Did we lose him, or is he still a part of?
I don't know.
Ted is
Yeah,
here.
we did do one where kids went to different places. Yep, took pictures of receipts and things like that.
Okay, so did you someone was just asking for any resources, like is there anything that you guys did in particular?
No, I think it was pretty basic. I think the kids made like clues, like go to like our food services competitor for a rice bowl, and it was like they'd go to Chipotle, take a picture of the receipt, and then like they'd submit it and get the next clue.
Okay.
There is an app called Goose Chase that you can use.
Yeah, that's a good one.
To promote kind of that idea.
That's cool.
They upload it. It's all digital and actually awards points and everything as well. We do that in our school for freshmen.
Goose Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And another thing you could do is you could construct it and then you put QR codes at the places you want them to go, and they can scan the QR codes as well and, you know, fill out a form or do a certain task that pops up, those kinds of things.
Awesome. I'm putting in, because people ask questions, I'm putting in the eval one more time if anybody needed it. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions, anything they want to discuss before we say goodbye? Well, thank you so much, everybody. We will see you back on October 20th for Equity as a Foundation for Student Activities with Joaquin and John, and we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
Bye.
I want to make sure I get Joaquin's banner things. I just sent it to my principal. The pictures.
And I put them in I'll email it to you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yay. That's the best. Awesome. I know. I love those banners. I would love to see if we could get those.
That article's pretty great too, because there were some people in Park Ridge protesting pretty hard, and we just pushed back. It was great.
Great.
Nothing like protesting against a banner that says to love people.
It was.
Oh wait, I'll stop the recording. Thank you, everybody. Let me stop that.